All right, we're actually going to start with the recording now, yeah? Just
You mean he didn't record all that gold?
not really, Dennis. I mean, like
Oh, you
your old
didn't.
man fucking episode with the YouTubes and the Googles and the internets wasn't really
It was a
something I
fucking,
wanted to expose to the internet, you
it
know?
was a conspiracy against me.
It was, of course. Everything is a conspiracy there. Everything is a conspiracy. I have to get you
Trying to
alone.
get rid of me from my spot in OTT, trying
Oh,
to
trust me.
fucking take away my fucking YouTube, trying to fucking inject me with tinfoil.
Did you get your vaccine
Anyways,
yet?
I ain't putting no vaccine in my. God is my vaccine.
All these homeless people, like they don't have the corona because I'm vaccinated, you dumb bitch.
That was, oh my God, I just remember that clip. That was fucking beautiful.
Yeah. Anyway, with that hot start, hello everybody and welcome back to the game gallery.
And
Yeah,
Um
hello.
bye, anti-vaxxers. I'm sure you're gone.
By anti-vaxxers, we don't want you here. They don't want you coughing everywhere to us.
No, they're dead anyway.
They are actually, they died of polio. So that's always anyway, so
There's one of them
what
watching in an iron lung right now. Yes.
time of deaths? Stupid o'clock.
Mhm.
Welcome back indeed to Dennis, who of Sound Mind and Waistcoat is joining us here tonight.
Hello.
Skillfully dodged our last showing at the game gallery, which was Dracula Unleashed. So you'll never know what happened, but spoiler, Dracula got unleashed.
I was going to say, I
Um,
imagine Dracula got unleashed.
he did actually, yes. Quite anticlimactically actually in the end. But we had to get you on for this one because since you started joining us on this channel, whenever video games came up in conversation, there was three particular words you kept bringing up in your vernacular, like you had some level of weird anime weeby Tourette's, which was Shadow of Memories.
Yes.
Dennis, before we actually watch this game, tell me how you
Now you
remember
see
Shadow of
already, right? You're both dickheads, right? Already.
Is that a
Look at you.
fucking thing?
Right. Look at your stupid faces, right? Okay,
How
right.
is
I
that
know
a
what
fucking
I know
thing?
what you're
And
doing.
you're blaming
Foxy,
me.
Foxy, Foxy.
Oh,
Foxy, we're fucking family at this stage, right? I fucking know you, right? I fucking know that stupid grin you get, right? Right, okay? Listen, it's the same one you go when you lean up into my ear and you go long dick style, right? I fucking know, right? Right? So,
some kind of.
right, here's the thing. This
This is the
may
best
be,
opening for a
I
fucking game gallery ever.
I admit it may be rose tinted glasses because I haven't played it in fucking what is it? How long has it been? What, 15 years? I don't know how long it's been since it's been released. 20 years? I
Well,
don't fucking
I
know.
think it'll be hitting 20 years soon, I'd say, yeah.
So it was probably wasn't. I didn't play when it first came out, but you're probably talking 15 years, something like
Hmm.
that. I haven't played it. That's legit. I have not played it, right? So, and I only played it when I got it. I played it fervently, and I got several endings of it,
Yes.
right? So it's very possible because this was fucking PS1, I think.
Two.
PS2?
Yes, two.
PS2. PS2. Um, it's very possible that because it was um such a story-driven game, and at that time I felt, at least in the ones I hadn't gotten a lot of story
Hmm.
from a lot of the games, kind of from the obvious, the obvious culprits. But I'm big into story, still am,
Hmm.
with games, and I felt this was an intriguing um concept for a game.
Yeah.
That you proceed, and then you're essentially attempting to be killed the whole fucking game, and then you find various reasons to you find a way to go back in time, change a little thing that stops you dying, but then it has a butterfly effect and it's chaos
Yes.
theory and all this shit going into it. It does bring in like things of alchemy and fucking Nicholas Flamel and all this shit going on. Is Flamel in it?
Not from Mel himself, no.
No,
But
it's mentioned though. Flamel is mentioned, isn't it? Or am I just fucking?
I think he's
I
name
could
dropping
be.
some position, but
I'm
yeah.
highly medicated. I could be fever dreaming. But uh, I basically just remember thoroughly enjoying it at the time because it was something different,
Hmm.
and it was this was before I had access to walkthroughs and fucking the ease of access to kind of game guides and stuff, where now they were out there. I just didn't have access to them as easily. Where I actually had to go and figure this shit out.
Mm.
And that kind of kept my interest. Do you know what I mean? Where I had to figure shit out. That's why I said to you, when Jonathan told me he was playing the game, I said, don't play it with a fucking walkthrough. What did you do, Jonathan? You played it with a fucking walkthrough.
Well, I'll tell you why I did, because I thought that it was a lot more intricate than I had first believed, but it actually was terrifically simple.
Yes.
But you know what? We will get into it as we're watching it, because then I can explain the choices as we go along. But
yeah,
the actual video
it's
we're
basically it only changes. It matters from like the halfway point. That's when
essentially yes.
That's when the choices branch and give you different endings.
Yeah,
you know.
So in actuality, I didn't really need to look it up at all. Like, it actually was quite elementary. But like I said, we in this part of the game gallery, not only are you going to see Shadow of Memories, you're going to see all possible endings of Shadow of Memories, including the 2 extra endings that Dennis, even you haven't seen. So
no, I haven't. No.
Yeah. In fact, you're going to see the whole lot. So right then, we're going to just jump straight in, lads. So you should have your video there in front of you if you're ready to go.
Yep.
And we'll start on this count of 3, 2, 1, play.
So for a little bit of tidbit, while you were talking, I kind of looked it up. So the game was released in 2001.
There you go. So it is 21 years old.
And then it was ported to Xbox and Windows in 2002.
And I'm fairly sure Shadow of Destiny is on the PSP. I could be wrong.
Yes, Shadow of Destiny is on the PSP.
The Homunculus.
Yes, this. Now, I'll give you one guess, Foxy, right? When you hear this voice actor...
I forget Foxy hasn't... Foxy, have you seen anything about this game?
Nothing. I'm going in completely blind, so...
Yeah. Now,
voice actor?
I am going to blow your mind, though, with who the voice actor of this character is.
Don't. I want to
Let him figure it out. Let him figure it out. Oh, those graphics.
It's
bang a PS2 over.
Isn't there?
As you may guess from the protagonist legs, that's our main character.
What gave it away?
His legs.
Fucking King Exposition over here on the fucking Nerds Roast channel.
Absurdly long limbs.
There he is. Look at him. Dreamy anime boy.
That artwork is beautiful, though.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is Shadow of Memories in Europe, etc. I think it was Shadow of Destiny in Japan.
And potentially the States. I can't recall.
And that's why when this was originally brought up, me and you had this discussion, and you disagreed. You disagreed it was ever called Shadow of Memories, and I said, "Motherfucker, I know."
No, you're right.
I know.
Because I actually only knew this as Shadow of Destiny. So yeah, like they're both the same game essentially. Like it was just
it is very. If I remember correctly, again, I haven't seen this in over a decade. If I remember correctly, the start is very exposition heavy.
It can be.
And kind of explanatory to. I suppose it has to be, but
it is kind of like branching off a pretty strange premise, like so.
Oh God, yeah! Look at that. I remember just watching this start, going, "Woo, that's an interesting start." And again, when I got this game, I went in blind. I did not fucking know. I knew from the blurb on the back of the case.
Yeah.
Like the general thing. So again, watching this and you're kind of starting it up for the first time, you're like, "Oh, what the fuck is this?"
Like it's Konami. Like, I mean, like.
Oh, look at the toss of the hair.
But especially the fact that, like.
Here we go. Dead it. See?
Stabbed in the back.
But that's what I mean. Imagine playing that going in blind and you're going, okay, that's clearly the protagonist. What the fuck? Is this a weird, like, starting at the end of the game thing?
Mm.
We're going Tarantino the fucking thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
So like when I was playing this, I can vividly remember like that caught me.
Mm.
Like that, I went, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
Because
it's a very
now
good
I want
hook.
to know where we're going to
Say that
go.
much.
Yeah,
It's a very, very good hook for a game.
that's what I mean. The premise, even though I can't remember, but I don't remember the execution being terrible. But
Do you know what? Okay, I was very much kind of like pulling along a little bit because I don't think it's not a terrible game by any stretch of imagination. It's just ridiculously absurd, and I actually do quite enjoy games who are absurd.
oh
Like
no,
the
I
actual-
mean
it's
from
not lore.
the get-go, it's mental. Like
Yes.
I mean, look at it. What else would you expect? Look at him.
Look at this thing. He's just so unnecessarily long.
What the?
It's like if they gave fucking Chris Brooks the
What's
mocap.
going
It's fucking
on?
ridiculous. Like fucking Peter Crouch is
could
there
have
doing the
happened?
fucking main character role. Like,
Oh, I didn't remember that it had
Am
such
I
terrible
dead?
like direct English translation.
yes,
Who's there?
that you're gonna have to get used to, unfortunately.
How does it feel to be dead?
Now again, I'm asking is one
Damn it,
question
who
here.
is this?
Did you hear that voice, Foxy?
you
Hold
making
on, let
fun
me
of
hear,
me?
let me hear, let me hear.
Not at all. I beg your pardon if I've offended you. You are strongly fated today. You see, you are destined to die.
What?
But if you have the will to somehow reverse that fate by yourself, I can lend you some measure of
I
strength.
remember hearing that and being creeped the
How
fuck
about
out.
now?
I thought that voice acting was done fantastically for Homunculus.
Thanks,
But Dennis,
but no
do you know who
thanks.
that voice actor
Sounds
is?
too
Yes,
good
I
to be
do.
True.
Why?
Let's see if Foxy can
Trust
recognize
me,
him.
trust me.
Of course not. I get it. You're the big S, the devil.
The big S, the
In
devil.
exchange for
Yeah, I
your
don't
immortal
believe
soul
it.
and all that, am I right?
Your soul. Oh, please. In this day and age,
Your soul means nothing in a cost of living
if
crisis.
I do have an agenda, it's that you survive.
Let me think it over a bit.
Do you want to die? Yes or no?
Of course. Go ahead. But don't keep me waiting too long. I don't much like to be left hanging. Well, what reason is there to procrastinate? You either just die here and now, or you prevent it. It's that simple.
So, can you recognize the voice, Foxy?
All right. I'm sorry I called you the devil. I don't want to die yet.
If I was to say he's a voice actor of one of the most famous characters
But I
ever.
want you to be aware of something.
In video
You have
games.
to understand that the destiny that awaits
Yeah.
you is a potent one, which means that just because you've managed
Come
to
on,
avoid
Foxy.
once,
Fuck off, I'm waiting to hear him.
of the threat,
It's the homunculus that's really fucking like.
That's the homunculus voice.
Yes.
So,
That's what we're quizzing you on.
life
Oh,
isn't
I thought you were talking about the
hard.
protagonist.
No,
That's what I was
Homunculus.
waiting on. I was like,
But
fuck.
that-
Listen to Homunculus.
You're right. But that's also where your own strengths come into play. Are you ready? I'm going to give you some of my time-shifting powers. I'm going to give you this.
He just throws an N-gauge at you. I love that.
Digipad.
Yeah.
The
We're in
name,
Digimon now?
the first
Yeah.
name begins with a C, Foxy. Of the voice actor.
Can I give him another clue?
But
Well,
it's
I think
not
so. We've told him
as
first name
simple
begins with a
as
C.
well.
He's the voice of one of the most
This
famous
response
video game
is
characters
known
of all
and
time.
has some relevance
Mhm.
to you as its user. As soon as it begins to respond, it's usable, and you can select the digipad by pushing on the square button.
Go on, give him another clue.
With that, you specify the
Dublin
distance
Kind of want
Comic-Con.
him to. I kind of yeah.
the X button.
I kind of want him to get it
Set
before
all right?
Homunculus stops talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like,
You can't solve the real
Dublin
problem
Comic-Con,
by
Foxy.
using it when you're about to die.
First letter of
You
second
use it
name
to
M.
remove the underlying cause of your death.
First name C. Second name M.
Something
Hunk!
else?
Yes. It's very important. If the response begins
CM
in
Homunc.
spaces
Yeah.
up to, please come
Oh,
back
Jesus.
immediately. Other
Fuck off.
people and objects can be just left in that time and stay intact. But that isn't true for you as the user. If it starts to respond, you need to come back quickly. or you won't be
He's
able
really
to get
stuck, Dennis.
back home.
His first
Full
name
of that.
Sure.
is shared by a wrestler who main evented yesterday that you just adore.
Good luck.
You dick. That's after really throw me.
You
Give
could
up,
say
Foxy.
he's a super voice actor.
Charles
What?
Martinet.
Yes. Yes. Look at his shock. The horror.
He's trying to compute it. It doesn't
Yeah,
sound like him at all.
No.
Because there was not a
Sir,
single wahoo
please
in the
listen.
end at all.
No,
You know,
no,
you know.
no.
Alright?
Because I've heard him in other
Sick or
fucking
something?
stuff, but it's just like,
Yeah, but have you ever heard him doing a horror kind of creepy?
yeah, I've never
Thingy.
heard him do
Yeah. Oh look, I remember him. Weird baby
Sir.
face man.
Yeah, Paul Tracy.
Oh.
No, that's unfair. That's unfair.
I would say low hanging fruit, but no, like that was good. That was good.
Thank you.
He doesn't watch this show. I don't care.
That's true. Yeah.
I remember one ending of this that I particularly enjoyed. I know you got them all.
Mm.
I enjoyed, I think, because
Huh? Oh, sorry.
maybe it was my
I fell
fucking
asleep.
youthful stupidity,
Mm.
but I didn't see it coming. Now a lot of them I didn't see coming. Actually, no, yeah, I didn't see any of them coming.
One ending
Fair.
is a very, very, very
But the
good
one,
That'll do.
But,
the
yeah.
twist of
Okay.
daughter, I'll say that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
I
know
like
the
that
you're
one.
talking- Well, like I said,
Um,
every ending does have some level of twist, but it just
Yeah.
depends on what like the whole. To even explain to Voxy and the viewers, essentially the game at the halfway point it leaves a couple of plot threads, and to basically decide what ending you get, you basically choose a permutation of two. Let's say so you
Yeah.
pull on
I,
one
uh,
thread, and that leads you
I'll
onto
just
one
leave what I
certain
owe for the
branch.
coffee.
Yeah.
And if you pull on a
Pull on
different
the
tree,
other
you
one,
don't pull
it leads
that,
you
pull
different.
something
I
else
think
later.
there's a total of 8 endings. Is that correct?
Right, so we have the bad ending, which happens if you die outright, which we should see actually now. Actually, enough, because I'm going to give you the game over very, very quick, immediately.
Oh, I
Uh,
remember this. Yeah, no, I
yeah.
remember this. Yeah.
So that's
Hold
the
on.
bad ending.
It's
Then
coming
you
very
have-
quickly. Hold on.
2 o'clock.
Not immediately now, but in a few
I
minutes.
still can't
See,
believe it
I
just
love this. You
happened.
see, do you notice the way Foxy? He's. We're back at the start. We're
Yeah.
back at the
Yeah.
very start of the game.
But since
So
I
it's
have
very
this digipad here, I guess it really
correct,
did
Foxy. It
happen.
is a digipad.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely not in the Digimon universe, as far as we know.
we're back at the start of the game, except this time we're in control. But this is what I mean. That this really at the time intrigued me because it was like, oh, cool. Okay, so either we go about the same thing and the same thing fucking happens because obviously the same thing fucking happens, or we can change it.
Yes.
I guess this is as far as I go.
Yep, there's a dog on the road. Can't go any further. Which
I
just
will
love.
I will allow for that for the time because that was quite regular to have something stupid blocking your path
And
in
it
that
also
time period.
it also speaks a lot more about the main character as well, because I know a bit. I've heard a bit of the kind of the expanded stuff about this, because shocking enough, there's a wiki about.
Oh, there
this.
is a wiki about this game, yeah.
Yeah.
No, this game has a fucking cult following, like.
Yeah, it's weird.
Even
it's
now
one of those-
still.
Yeah, it's one of those ones.
Like people
But,
clamor for it to be remade and done like properly, which I think it could actually pan out very well in modern, given a modern shiny coat.
I think you could take the premise and do something with it. Yes.
I suppose that's what I mean. I wouldn't
Yes.
like transfer it. I try and improve upon it.
Improve upon it. Yeah. So answer your question about the ending. So you always got the bad
May
ending.
I
That's
help
one
you?
in itself.
If
Yeah.
you
Then
need
you've
a
got
city
ending
map,
A.
please help yourself.
You've
By
got
the
ending
way, if
B.
you want
There's
to look at
technically
the map,
two ending
just press the
Bs,
triangle
right?
button.
But you only have to get one of them. Basically, it just depends on which one of which one of the two events you do to get another ending, essentially. So it's kind of like a halfway house ending, is the way I kind of describe it. Then you got ending C, you got ending D, and you got ending E. So that's what, 7? If you're counting that. And then you have the two EX endings. So technically there's 9 endings to the game.
Yeah.
But
And like
I said,
that was impressive. Like
Yeah.
that was fucking impressive.
No, and there are a few quality of life things as well, like like in particular, like when you do play through the game the first time, basically if you encounter a cutscene you've done already, you can skip it, which is like thank you
Yeah.
fucking Jesus, because the playthrough is
Yeah.
like for
No,
like,
I do. I vividly remember
Yeah.
that going, oh yes, okay.
Yeah.
If you're doing something you've already seen, skip it.
because
You're
it's
grand,
it's
you know?
encouraged you to replay and get another ending, and that's a good
Exactly.
thing. Yeah, but the game is not. It's absolutely one of the easiest games I've ever played, even as a puzzle game. It's actually terrifically easy. It is like genuinely
Oh
just telling
yeah.
the story, and a lot of like kind of like auteur games are like that, where they don't necessarily want to challenge the player; they just want to tell the
That's it.
story.
It was
And
more of a I think for me it was more of the finding out what you had to do differently to get a different ending.
Yeah, I mean that's
You
pretty
know?
much it. Like, it's very little else to it. But in terms of your background, like we'll explain a few things anyway. So the main character is called
Fortune's
Ike
told.
Kush. That's his full name.
I never noticed
And obviously
this
legit
place
just gets
before.
stabbed like randomly on the street and dies. And the entity that he thinks is Satan, who's actually called Homunculus, gives him the time traveling device to essentially save his life. But it doesn't end there, because every single time he changes his fate, he dies again. And it keeps going until essentially he solves who's trying to kill him and how do you stop them and all this sort of jazz. But that sounds terrifically simple. That sounds nice and linear, everything straightforward enough.
Welcome.
But just wait for the
I've
fucking
been
turns it takes.
expecting you.
Yeah,
No,
no, I will say,
Actually, I just happened to
I
stop
do
by,
remember
and I was
a
wondering if you
ton
could tell
of
me
the
my fortune.
weird shit. I do remember a ton of the
Am I
weird
going to
shit.
die soon?
Yes.
For you,
And I remember
I will
even
do it for free.
Thanks. I really need this.
like
Please,
it
don't
goes
just
even
give me the
further than you
usual
first thought,
niceties.
and it kind of
This is
so
very
like
serious for me.
you think,
Don't
okay,
worry.
this is going to be, you know, a killer keeps finding new ways to kill me, so I have to find new ways to do that. But then it's like he goes back in time, but goes back in time ultra far,
What?
Yeah.
and then does these
I foresee you can
weird
change.
tasks to make the weirdest thing happen, like making it so that a tree isn't planted so that the killer can't hide in said tree. You know, like stuff like that is
Yeah.
I thought it was entertaining. I liked it. There was one thing I didn't like, and I particularly remember it because I remember trying to gather up the endings, and this was the ending I got that made me go, oh fuck this. Where it was, I don't want to say the ending, but you probably know the ending.
This would happen
I would know the ending. So if you give me a keyword, I'll probably know what you mean.
Car.
What awaits you. You
Yeah.
will find people to be with
That
Yeah.
pissed me
so
right
that
the
you
fuck
would not
off.
be by yourself.
Right the fuck off. Because I was just like,
Then
are
what?
you for fucking real? What the
the guys
fuck
did-
was this? Like,
If
The only
are
gas thing is, if you reach
unsatisfied
if you're in the town at a certain time of night, you actually see those lads already drinking.
his quarry.
So it's like a really weird Chekhov's gun that you would never possibly see unless you actually go and try and find it.
But a
Just so fucking
single
ludicrous. But anyway,
change
we're getting off
will
sidetrack here.
affect
So
all else
one
that
key thing
follows
to
it.
remember as well is that the actual this game is meant to be set
No
in
one
Germany.
can tell.
It's meant to be set in an old Bavarian town.
oh, I forgot that. Okay.
So all the kind of like the names you see are like, you know, like Hauptstrasse and stuff like that. So they're all Bavarian oriented names, and even the people's most of the townspeople names are German or Bavarian descent. And the actual name of the town is Liebenslau, which I believe is a what's the I think it's a 1-tree town or something like that, like tree town, something along those lines. Yeah, it's all explained in the wiki. But essentially, the one interesting thing, and this is what I recall from people like secondhand describing the game to kind of like
All
add
right.
context to it,
I think I
is
can
that
trust you.
the creator of the game kind of intentionally / unintentionally made a character who's absolutely not the hero. He's absolutely not in control. Like he's been manipulated from day one.
Oh
by
yeah, no, I do, I wholly agree with that. From what I can remember, I do remember. Yeah, he's like there's never a point where you're like, yeah, he's, you know, yeah, go get him, you know.
Like he's absolutely not in the case. Nothing really heroic about him. Nor is there anything kind of intelligent about him. If anything, he's a bumbling idiot. And again, it's also kind of weird, like interesting premise of like what happens if you give the village idiot the fucking time machine, because he's gonna do dumb shit with it because that's the way he is, and that's essentially what Ike is. He's a bumbling, easily manipulative fool that has been given means far beyond his capabilities and expected to do God's work with it. Now, another thing to kind of mention there is the two
I guess
timelines.
this is
So
as
we've
far
gone
as I
back
go.
an hour in time. And the whole idea
You
is
can see your
essentially
timelines in the top right corner there.
yes. So we know we're going to die at half 2. We know that
Yeah.
for certain. That
That's
is
the
established.
thing.
So essentially, you have to do what you need to do to prevent your death by half 2. And in fairness, like if you can't get this clear by half an hour, then you deserve to die. To be absolutely honest with you, because this is straightforward.